it's Char again. Welcome back to my channel. And today we are going to do, what was I going to do? Oh, yeah, top 10 Claire and Charlie moments on Lost. I noticed that's kind of an unpopular opinion. I'm on a Lost group on Facebook, and not many people talk about Claire or Charlie, which surprised me by the Charlie part at least, because I thought he was really popular. Or them separately or as a couple. And honestly, they're my favorite characters. I might be a little bit biased on the Claire part because the actress is someone I fell in love with on Once Upon a Time, which I think Lost was before Once Upon a Time, but there's a lot of people there's a lot of actors on both shows. Like, a lot of the same actors on both shows. But I saw Once Upon a Time first, and then I found out that she was on the show. I was like, why not give it a shot, see how the show is. And then I found out a lot of other people are on there, like Hurley is the main character on Lost. He wasn't that much of a main character on Once Upon a Time, unlike Claire was, who played Belle. Then Ingrid from Once Upon a Time plays, can't remember her name now, Juliet on Lost. Who else? Zelena from Once Upon a Time, who had a big part on Once Upon a Time. Well, like later on, like season 3 is when she was introduced, but after that she did have a pretty big part. And she plays what's her name? Charlotte, who didn't really have a big part on Lost. But yeah, those are the only ones I can think of now. But I think there was a lot more who played like smaller bit parts. I think they were created by the same people though. Yeah, they were. They were created by the same people, and that might be part of the reason why, they already knew these people, so like, hey, let's cast them on this other show. I don't know. But that's not the point of this video. But it really upsets me that they don't get more love, and I don't just love Claire because I love the actress on Once Upon a Time, but I truly do love her character, and I know people say about her in season 6, and I'm really disappointed she wasn't on season 5. She wasn't on there at all. But I understand what she was going through in season 6, I mean, she was trying to find her son, who she thought the bad guys kidnapped, which doesn't surprise me because in season 1, when she first gave birth to the son, they were trying to kidnap him. So yeah, I kind of understand why she went a little nuts at the end, but she was still Claire, and I still love her, and I love Charlie, and I still cry at his death. And I thought they were such a beautiful couple, and the way Charlie treats Claire, because when you see her past, you saw how she kind of had a messed up past, and I don't think enough people talk about how she did have a messed up past, and so did Charlie, but I mean, so yeah, and I think that's how Claire should be treated, and Charlie treated her how she deserved, and he was like a father to Aaron, and a lot of people did. I like what she said at one point when they were talking about it. That's actually on the list, so I'm not gonna mention it now. I'm gonna mention it when I get to it. So let's start with the list, shall we? Number 10, Charlie's death. Now, like I said, Charlie's death is really sad. He did it to save everyone though, so they could get rescued. He found out that it wasn't Penny's boat, that Desmond thought he was talking to the love of his life, and she was going to send them a boat or something, and when Charlie inspected it, it wasn't Penny's boat. He found out. I don't remember exactly how he found out, but then water started coming in, so he closed the door so Desmond couldn't get in, so he wouldn't die too and be able to tell them. Then he wrote it on his hand quickly before the water got too high and put it on the glass and said not to Penny's boat to let him know so he can let everyone else know. Oh yeah, I forgot, Regina from Once Upon a Time, she was on that episode. She was only on that episode, it was only for a few minutes. And I think the other girl looked familiar too. I can't remember what she looked like now, but I think at the time she looked familiar. But anyways, I lost, what I was saying. What was I saying? And then Desmond told Hurley, and then whenever they got back to the others, Hurley wanted to be the one to tell Claire, because Hurley was Charlie's best friend, and he knew what Charlie meant to Claire. So, and it was just so sad. I cried so much when Charlie drowns, Hurley finds out, then Hurley tells Claire, and when he tells her, and it's just so sad, and then she starts crying, and I love it in the next episode when Hurley makes the whole speech to Jack because they were going to separate to two teams because Jack was like, no, you should follow Locke. He's going to get you killed or whatever. They wanted to go ahead to do what they were already planning when Locke's like, no, if it's not Penny's boat, then what's the point or whatever. And so I lost my train of thought. Of course I did. But then Hurley's like, I'm not gonna follow you because Charlie. Okay, he was like, what about Charlie? Charlie lost his. What did he say? He said Charlie sacrificed himself and used his last few moments to tell us that the people on that boat was not who they said they were. So I'm not gonna listen to you. I'm gonna listen to my friend. And the entire time it keeps zooming on from him to Claire. And Claire was like listening intently, and you could tell she agreed. So after Hurley went too long, Claire followed him because she's like, of course I'm gonna listen to Charlie, like he's Charlie. But yeah, it was sad and it makes me cry. Okay, number 9. This is the scene I was just talking about when they were talking, which was a really sweet moment. It was. I don't think it was when they first met. Because I think when they first met, it was really small. It was just them pretty much introducing each other. But then later on, after Claire like fainted or something, I don't remember what happened. But she was like lying down because she was like 8 months pregnant. And Claire went to talk to her, and she's like, I think everyone's scared of me because of this big ticking time bomb of responsibility. And then Charlie's like, you don't scare me. And then that was really sweet, you know. And it was like, oh, this is why Charlie and Claire are perfect together. Like, none of these I could change my mind. Number 8, Charlie worrying about Claire when she was kidnapped. That was really sweet. When she was still pregnant, so this would have been early on because she gave birth towards the end of season 1. So, like I said, someone was trying to kidnap their baby, so they kidnapped Claire before she had the baby to try to do it that way. And actually, they kidnapped Claire and Charlie because they were together. And Charlie almost died, which might have actually been foreshadowed for his actual death, but I'll get to that in another video maybe. What's my train of thought again? So what was I saying? Yeah, Charlie went about Claire. Jack was able to find him and save him. At first it didn't look like he would be able to, but then Charlie was like so worried about Claire the entire time. He was distraught, and then when they found Claire and she didn't remember anything, he was extra distraught because he's like you don't remember me? We had a connection. And it was just so sad to watch Claire not remember Charlie, and Charlie be like head over heels for Claire, and it's just so sad. And it was also sweet how, and that was like since it's so early, it was still at the beginning of their relationship, and it just proved what kind of connection and chemistry the two of them had for him to worry about her that much not long after their first meeting. It's like, because I was saying how Charlie was good for Claire, but I think Claire's also good for Charlie because his past was kind of messed up too, and she also tells him when he's being stupid and stuff, and she was like an awakening for him. I think she was the first person that made him truly want to get clean. You know, his brother's the one that forced the drug life into him, and then when his brother ends up getting clean and then pushing Charlie away from having this being like that, which is extra messed up. Just like Claire, her past was messed up because well, for one, her mom was in a coma. Her dad she never met until like not long before the flight, who turned out to be Jack's dad. But that's not the point. The point was she got pregnant by accident, and her boyfriend was like, it's okay, we can do this, and then a few months later he's like, nope, I'm sorry, we can't do this, I'm leaving, and he just leaves her to raise his baby by herself. So yeah, they needed each other, and it's not just that they need each other, you know, they're also good for each other, and they love each other, and it's just really sweet, you know. Sorry, I could rant about them for like hours, so I'm gonna move on now. Number 7, Charlie sees Claire in the crowd. This is at the end when everyone's off the island, and well, it's kind of hard to explain. Like at the end, everyone was dead. Like seriously, that's how it ends, with everyone dead in the afterlife, and they all get reunited, which is really sweet. But it like shows them all like get reunited to their loved ones. And before Claire, literally right before Claire, Charlie get reunited. I mean, it's kind of a small scene, but it's like really sweet and really important because like just before that, he was like he was telling Desmond how he on the plane he saw a vision, or not a vision, but it's like he saw someone. I guess it was kind of like a vision. He saw this girl. How did he explain her? He's like blonde, rapturously beautiful. I think that's what the word he said, something like that. And it's like I knew her. It's like she was here with me, and we were happy and in love, and it was just a really sweet moment. And then when he's on stage and Claire's in the crowd, he spots her and he stops, and he doesn't even sing. He just stops and watches her, and she kind of looks around like, "Is he looking at me?" It's because he recognized her because she was the girl he saw, and it's like even though he didn't remember her, he still felt something for her. It's like Buffy. My three favorite couples are Tara and Willow, Xander and Anya, Buffy and Spike, in that order. And on the episode Tabula Rasa, when everyone forgets their memories, Tara and Willow are the only couple. As much as I love the other two couples, Tara and Willow are the only couple that actually remember. Well, they don't remember, but it's like you could tell they still had a connection. You could tell they still had feelings for each other. It's like subconsciously they did remember, and it proves their love is the greatest and is the most beautiful because they do. And same with that one. It's like they still knew each other without knowing each other, and it's just so beautiful. 6. Their kiss. Because I can, now go. They've had a few kisses on the show. Not nearly enough since Charlie died at the end of season 3. But it was really sweet. And I love, and it's like, I'm a little upset they never showed them have like a truly passionate kiss, but at the same time, all their kisses are so sweet and tender, like they respect each other, you know, and it's just so cute, and I'm in love with them. Okay. Number 5. In a scary place like this, Charlie makes me feel safe. That was sweet. I think this was when Claire was missing, or when she came. I know it was either when Claire was missing or when she came back and didn't remember. Charlie, which was a little wrong of him, ended up reading her journal because she was journaling. Like before she went missing, he even walked up to her writing his journal, and he's like, and makes a comment about it. But he was a little wrong for him to read it. But he started reading. I think he was curious about because he knew how he felt about Claire at that point, and Claire, he wasn't exactly sure how Claire felt. You know, she was better at hiding how she felt. I think she was scared after her last relationship, just ditching her. She was scared to feel that way for someone again, so she tried to hide it a little bit more. But Charlie, he met someone amazing, someone who cares for him, you know, which he hasn't had in a long time. So that made him not want to hide it, I guess. And so, but at one point, he read, in a scary place like this, Charlie makes me feel safe. And it made him feel a lot better and happier that he can make her feel safe, I guess. Number 4, peanut butter. Now this was really sweet. This proves Charlie's like the perfect boyfriend. If I was straight, I swear. But Claire's more my type. Moving on. But he was worried about her and the baby were in the beach, and he wanted to her to go to the caves because some people were staying at the beach just in case they get rescued, and some were staying in the caves. And she said she liked the beach, and he wanted her to go to the caves because he thought it'd be safer. I think this is around the time she was kidnapped too. Oh well. This also proves that he can make her laugh and just smile, and it's just beautiful. Okay, moving on. So the point is, he's like, she tells him she loves peanut butter, and he's like, okay, so if I can get you peanut butter, will you promise to move to the caves with me? And she's like, deal. So he looks for peanut butter, can't find it, and no one had peanut butter, and so he ends up getting an empty jar and saying, and he ends up going to her saying, hey, I found peanut butter. She's like, no way. And he shows her an empty jar, and then he's like, it's delicious peanut butter, and started doing that and making noises like it's really good, and it was just, and then he's like, come on, try it. So she tried it, and she laughed at his, well, goofiness, his silliness, his idiocy, and it was just really sweet. But she, even though he technically didn't find real peanut butter, she still went to the caves with him. And it was just funny and sweet, and man, Charlie's the best. 3. I'm not giving up on you either, Charlie. It's going to be okay. You're going to be okay. We'll get through this together. This was really sweet. I think this is when they sent a note somewhere through the ocean, and he was going through something. I don't remember. There was like, I think it was around the time she found out of his addiction of him trying to get clean, because she's the reason why he's trying to get clean. Actually no, I don't know, but he was going through something, and so she grabs his hands, and she says that, I'm not giving up on you either, Charlie. It's going to be okay. You're going to be okay. We'll get through this together, which is really sweet. You know, she wants to be there for him and help him through it, and it's just so cute. Number 2, greatest hits. Now this is just absolutely sweet. I'm still upset that Claire never heard about it. At least I don't think she heard about it. I don't think Desmond ended up telling her. So, and only one thing in the entire world could beat this. But Charlie knew he was gonna die. Desmond has visions and just knew Charlie was gonna die. He kept trying to save his life, because there's a few other times he almost died. And they were on the boat in the ocean. They were about to go down to the submarine, which is where he ended up dying, and he knew he was gonna die, which is really sad because like right before he left, Claire was really upset that he was gonna go because it's dangerous. He's like, oh, it's okay, I'm gonna be back. He kisses her and then walks away all sad, and it's really sad. Found him?
In the box I asked you to look in.
What was his name? And then he starts writing something, and he's like, which is his greatest hits. What were his greatest hits again? I have something on my phone. It's on my phone. I know it is. I don't have that many Lost pictures because I don't think Lost is that popular of a show. Not something you hear about all the time. At least, you know. Like there's some shows that's just so popular that even if you don't watch it, you know the name. Here it is. Okay. He had like 5 things that are his greatest hits, which is basically the greatest things that ever happened to him in his life. Number 5 was the first time I heard myself on the radio. Of course, that would be on there. You know, that's a big deal. Number 4 is Dad teaching me to swim at Budlands. Number 3 is the Christmas Liam gave me the ring. Liam is his brother. Number 2 is woman outside Comet Garden calls me a hero because like a guy was harassing her, and a bunch of people, and he like saved her, beat up the guy, and she's like, thank you. He's like, anybody would have done it. And she's like, no, do you know how many people walked by and saw what was happening, and no one did anything except you? So she ended up calling him a hero for it, which was really sweet because that's Charlie for you. Number 1 is the night I met you, talking about Claire, and then he handed it to Desmond, asking for him to give it to Claire, and he gives it back. He's like, no, you'll give it to her. That's why Claire never found out about it, because Desmond didn't know what was actually on it because he didn't read it, which is sad. I really wish Claire found out about it, because the night I met you, that's beautiful on so many levels. It's beautiful. Honorable mentions is holding hands while sleeping, which is kind of a, it's like they were taking care of Aaron together, which is really sweet, and I guess they were exhausted, fell asleep holding hands. It's just a short scene, but really sweet. Claire cutting Charlie's hair, now that was cute. Okay, that shows how comfortable they were with each other, how much they trust each other. He was trying to write a new song, and she was trying to cut his hair. She got annoyed with it. She was like, stop moving. And it was just cute and sweet. It shows like their relationship. Number 1, reuniting. Now, of course, this is number 1. This is like number 1 for like every couple on that show. Them reuniting, or not always reuniting, because like Jin and Sun, they already knew each other because they knew each other before the plane, because they were married. It's them having their memories back, I guess. But for most of them, it is reuniting because they didn't remember each other because they didn't meet until they got on the plane. But which was really sweet. Right after the crowd scene I told you about, Charlie ends up feeling I think they were like contractions because the baby was coming. So she went to get some air. Kate followed, and then Charlie followed too. And Kate started giving birth to her, just like giving birth to Aaron, just like, or not giving birth, but like helping like Claire give birth, obviously, just like she did on the island. And that's when Kate started getting her memories back by helping Claire. And then she asked Charlie to get towels, and when he came back with towels, she says thank you, and he's like, it's just towels, and she's like, not for the towels, and she's talking about for helping them get rescued, like the. And then she tells him to bring towels to her because she wanted them to remember each other because she knew how much they cared for each other. And then they looked at each other, and then it showed Claire get her memories back first, and then showed several memories and flashbacks of their time together, and then she smiles at him and she's like, Charlie, and then Charlie looks at Claire for a second, and then he gets his memories back and remembers several more flashbacks of the two of them, and then he smiles, it's like Charlie or Claire, and then it's really sweet, and they kiss, and then they look at Aaron, and it's just so sweet. No one can say they gave birth to the same baby twice, except for Claire. I'm just throwing that out there because I just thought of that. So that's my top 10 list of Claire and Charlie moments on Lost. Please tell me what you think, how you feel about this couple and these characters, and if you ship them as much as I do, and if you agree with my list, and if there's other moments you think I should have included. So, I hope you have a nice day. Thank you for watching.